third best record in the chase for the top seed among the Western teams. Good evening, everybody. I'm Vern Lundquist, and welcome back to Orlando. In every team's regular season set of 82 games, a couple of nights stand out, and this is one of them. We have a team in Seattle that has yet to lose on the road in 1995, and we have a team in Orlando that hasn't lost at home all season long. I'm joined, as always, by Chuck Daly. Chuck, Seattle kind of stumbled out of the gate this year. They were 5-5. Now they've righted the ship. How have they done it?
Well, first of all, they've got three players, Shrimp, Kemp, and Payton, who made the All-Star team. And when you get three All-Stars, there's a good chance you can cop an NBA title. They've moved uptown with these players playing great, particularly Detlef Shrimp, who's having his best year.
Well, Seattle comes in with a 7-game win streak on the road. They haven't faced anybody the caliber of Orlando, but Orlando is hampered tonight. Horace Grant came down with a bad back. We're told this morning he won't play. Anthony Avent, of all things, an ingrown toenail surgery, so he's out. How does that hurt them?
Well, it really causes a problem with their depth, and somebody off the bench is going to have to step up and help out. They're not going to need size, so some of the other people, like Dennis Scott in particular, who's been coming in and playing great, are going to have to step forward. If they get in foul trouble, that's a whole other deal, but it should be a great basketball game.
Well, we don't get to see Horace Grant for the second week in a row, but we do get to watch Shaquille O'Neal. What do you think George Karl's plans are to defend him?
Well, you better have a plan for sure, because this guy is so dominant in the lane that everybody's having problems. They're going to send a three guy, Detlef Shrimp, to try to double him at least part of the time. I sense they'll play a little straight up, but not much. But controlling him is the real problem for the Seattle Supersonics.
A couple of quick notes. The last time these two teams met, Seattle won in Seattle by 40 points. By 40. The last three times they've met, though, the home team has won by an average of 24. If that happens tonight, you're going to hear a lot about Chuck Daly's background. We'll be back with the starting lineups right after this.
Hi, everyone. This is the Budweiser Pop at the Top. I'm Fred Hickman, along with my partner, Dick Versace. First, the landmark of the week. Last night, John Stockton of the Utah Jazz assisted on this Karl Malone bucket versus the Denver Nuggets in the second quarter. That was number 9,922 in John's career, breaking the mark held by Magic Johnson.
And I want to say it was a privilege for me to first hold this record until you came along and broke it and made it yours.
And Dick, he who giveth in this case also taketh away. Stockton, right on Mo Cheek's case, should be the all-time steals guy this time next year. Is he the best ever at point?
I think you got to be careful when you start saying best ever, because it's very difficult to decide. Sometimes, you know, you should say, well, who won the most championships? Maybe the greatest coach was Red Auerbach. He won the most championships. But also, when you're talking about point guards, you have to group them. Those point guards that played with great low-post players like John Stockton with Karl Malone, or Magic Johnson with the great Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, their job was a little easier than, say, Isaiah Thomas or Tiny Archibald.
And the Jazz, of course, is a team on a record pace right now as well.
Yeah, and I think the reason is that they have a bench now, particularly Antoine Carr is helping this team.
But getting back to the guard situation, how important is it to get the point in this league? Dick and I will talk about some of the great ones and their contributions to the game coming up at halftime of our game tonight. The point guard diplomacy discussion. Oh, that's your Budweiser Pop at the Top. Right now, game time. The much improved Seattle Supersonics try to hand Shaquille O'Neal and the Magic that first home loss of the season. Can they do it? Vern and Chuck call the shots next.
Just a moment ago, Gary Payton, the guard of the Seattle Supersonics, introduced before a rather hostile crowd here at the arena. And the reaction a little different for Penny Hardaway. He'll start for the All-Stars in the East in the All-Star game in Phoenix. And the Microsoft starting lineup tonight: Shrimp, Kemp, Bill Cartwright starts in center in place of Sam Perkins, Kendall Gill, and Gary Payton. And for the Magic, it's Royal Jeff Turner getting his first start of the season, then O'Neal, Anderson, and Hardaway. George Karl in his third full season as the head coach of the Supersonics, and his counterpart will coach the East All-Stars for the first time, Brian Hill. Chuck?
Yeah, interesting matchups. Payton's going to play Hardaway, Gill on Royal, Cartwright on Turner, Detlef Schrempf, Anderson, and Sean Kemp and O'Neal. They're kind of unusual matchups, and there's going to be some intriguing ones. I think the Payton-Hardaway in particular will be an interesting. George Karl says, we want to up-tempo it, we want to check their handle, and we'll get into it gradually. Should be an interesting up and down the floor game. He's not sure about Orlando Magic's conditioning, so he wants to push this game to the maximum.
Well, if you got 124 in the lottery, it looks pretty good for this series. Anderson controls for Orlando. Gets it in the hands of Penny Hardaway. And here's Gary Payton. Donald Royal, he'll have Schrempf on him. There's the double, and the pass here quickly back to Royal, who misfires, and Cartwright with a rebound.
Yeah, play was set, and they got Royal the perfect shot. He's got to make that shot.
Kendall Gill, now Payton comes back outside, guarded by Hardaway. Again, if you joined us late, Horace Grant, Anthony Avent unavailable tonight. Here's Kemp. Long rebound in the hands of Royal. Quickly to Hardaway. There are no numbers there, but he'll take it all the way. Kicks it outside for the three.
Anderson on the three, and on the other end, Detlef Schrempf, they're going to double.
Nick Anderson will be a participant in the three-point shootout during All-Star Weekend. And a quick 3-0 lead for Orlando. Their win streak here in regular season actually is 24 games. They did lose here to Indiana in the playoffs late last year. Shot short by Kemp. Here comes Hardaway, trying to make it a 5-0 score. Takes the jumper, too strong. Rebound, Cartwright. Quickly to Payton, and Gary Payton back to Schrempf for three. We're tied.
Detlef Schrempf just having a sensational year, and the fact that he feels much more comfortable with the Sonics and their style, and he can do it all, inside, outside, wherever.
Detlef Schrempf now in his 10th year in the NBA. From the corner, that one's no good. O'Neal tries to control the rebound. It's off his hand, and Seattle will inbound.
Detlef Schrempf just goes and doubles wherever. That's why they create so many steals, probably as many or more than anybody in the league. Over 11 again. Opposition only 8.
Here's Kendall Gill, drives it all the way, puts it up short. Tipped out long, and that'll be Orlando.
Kendall Gill taking it to the basket. Kendall's had an ongoing struggle with his coach. Unhappy about playing time, but they seem to get through it and playing great basketball to this point.
Well, there have been rumors, published rumors in recent weeks about a trade involving him and the Portland Trailblazers. There's O'Neal.
Out of the double team, rises up over.
We were told today that it doesn't look like that trade will happen. And here's the jumper. Payton got it.
Gary Payton coming off the screen, wide open. Gary Payton, the all-star guard for the West.
He's turning into a bit of an Iron Man, too, isn't he, Chuck?
A lot of minutes, more than anybody else can play. Some of the minutes that Kendall would like to play.
Exactly. Loose ball picked up by Schrempf. 3-on-2. He's got Payton right wing. He dishes to him. Back to Schrempf, who wasn't looking for it.
But has a good hands, presence of mind to catch it. As Payton went up for the shot, but knew he didn't have it. Too deep under the basket.
7-5, Seattle on top.
Got some battle in the low post, and Payton wins this one, makes the steal. Here they're on the run again.
Oh, what a dish by Schrempf. The shot short, and Kendall Gill is going to shoot a couple of free throws. Detlef Schrempf off to a quick start. Started his career with the Dallas Mavericks, then went to Indiana, and now in his second season in Seattle.
When Seattle gets misses, they can really run the ball. They push it. All their people, most of the people can handle. They get in the open court. They want to create tempo.
Kendall Gill gets the first.
One release.
Gill was upset. The most recent victory came in a come-from-behind win over Philadelphia. He didn't play in the fourth quarter, so that reignited the controversy with him and George Karl.
Here's a little bit of a trap. They're throwing a little half court, looking for some double.
9-5. There's the double from Schrempf again. Boy, he's got to run all over the court, doesn't he?
He's got to be in great shape to do as much trap as he does.
Nick Anderson will shoot free throws.
His first team foul.
Take a look here. Here's the case. Shrimp leaves his man at the top, goes to O'Neal's, got to come all the way back to the weak side, catches man. Eventually, that can really get you in trouble. I think what happens to Seattle, they can do well in the regular season with it because teams aren't ready for it. They don't see it as often. When you get to the players, people solve it. They get people in the right position because when you swing the ball, you can really get into their defense.
Anderson, who's a 71% free throw shooter, misses the first of two. Misses the second of two. Hardaway rejected by Kemp. Here's Payton. Kendall Gill too hard. Shrimp with the putback up and in.
He went up on the left side. They had good numbers. They've got a special set after free throws, and they get it to the middle of the court. Have two wing guys. They've got their break right away.
Shrimp has 7. There's the double on O'Neal. And the rebound in the hand of Sean Kemp. Gary Payton again. That's for 3. Nope. Rebound O'Neal. Second rebound for Shaquille O'Neal. Donald Royal. Back to Hardaway for the three-pointer. He passes, goes underneath, and finds Anderson.
Seattle will give you some good looks. And the guy that Shrimp is leaving better be a good basketball player, both at shooting and being able to get into the defense, because he's going to have a lot of opportunities. And he's got to be found. He's got to make himself available all night long.
11-7 is the score. Sean Kemp traveling.
We talked to George Karl today, and they want that isolation. They think Kemp can take Shaquille O'Neal. He got a little excited that time and took the walk.
11-7, Seattle leads it. Hardaway. Gill guards Anderson. 7 on the shot clock. O'Neal muscled by Cartwright, who gets called for the foul.
And makes the shot. Watch how hard he works, but watch him with his left elbow first, how he hooks him. Watch, right? Watch when he spins. Look him hook him, and he bounces right off of him. Gets up in the air. Great body control. He did work for that one. When he's this active, it's very tough to find him and put him in the trap.
Now the well-documented free throw woes of Shaquille O'Neal continue. We had a lane violation.
A lane violation, which is a break for Shaquille. This is one way to perhaps improve or at least get a point out of it.
Well, he is at 55% from the line for the season. Spent the first month of the year, or the season actually, at 70% and has fallen off since then. Doesn't do him any good. Here's Gary Payton. 11-10 is the score. Oh, nice move by Payton, rejected by O'Neal. Into the hands of Jeff Turner.
What a great block that time.
Turner. Payton goes for the steal. There's the double coming from Shrimp again. The shot is short. And Kemp with a rebound.
That's where they miss Horace Grant on that defensive board.
Nice touch pass.
What a handle on the break. Did not make the shot. Good hustle by Payton. No.
Turner and Gill. And it's going to be...
Like Gary Payton was called for a foul.
Time has been called. 6:50 to go, opening quarter.
He's going to leave his man, come to the double. He hustles back out of it. Come on back. But look, O'Neal rise up, both feet up in the air, makes a very tough shot, but a shot he can make. Here's a great block by O'Neal. Look at this one. Almost a goaltend. It was right there. Gets him going. Watch after the free throw. They get the miss. We've got two guys wide there. Another block by Kemp. They get it out, and they're on the run. Look at the spread on this back break. That's the way you want your wingmen. Real wide. He misses the easy shot. They get it back and score by Detlef Schrempf.
That block by Shaquille O'Neal, his 100th of the season. And we're back to live action. Penny Hardaway. Turner. Don Royal gets the rebound. And Shaquille O'Neal thunders it home.
Yeah, they're going that pick and roll at the top, and they've done it 2 times, and they're not allowing him to get there, but they got some pretty good looks at time, but O'Neal had to finish it off the easy way rather than the hard way.
That ties it at 11. Seattle on a 6-0 run now, defending a 6-0 run. Here's Cartwright, jump hook, no good. George Karl said he starts Billy Cartwright when the other team has a big center. That is the fact tonight.
Yeah, he's looking to try. There they force him away from the pick again. Give someone a wide open shot. Happens to be Turner.
Misfires, rebound by Shrimp. Detlef Shrimp hurries it up. Kendall Gill takes the shot. Cans it.
Looking for the line, and Brian Hill's got to be thinking, maybe we better get a guy that can make a shot, because Jeff Turner is not making shots, and that's the guy. Kemp's playing him now, but he has been loose a lot of times for wide open shots.
Alley-oop, no, but the tip is good. Penny Hardaway.
Yeah, good hustle and follow by Penny Hardaway. Easily one of the best post-up players for his size in the league. Maybe for his size, but as good as there is.
There's the Seattle pick and roll. Payton and Detlef Shrimp. Hardaway on Shrimp. The double comes from Turner. Third baseline and travel.
That's a second walk they've got called for. The same kind of situation with us spinning out. Kemp earlier and now Shrimp. George Karl says, I want to know what's going on.
14-13 Seattle, 5:10 to go, opening quarter. Last meeting of the year between the two. They're both playing back-to-backs. Oh, what a pass. A little too hard by Shaquille O'Neal, and Royal wasn't ready for it.
There was a hard pass from down. He's had it up so high. When you throw it down that hard, and that spacing, Royal didn't stay out. He moved in. It had to be a softer pass in order for Royal to be able to catch it.
Shrimp posting up, guarded by Anderson. There's Cartwright, has it rejected. O'Neal quickly down court to set up on the blocks. Here's the entry pass. And the shot no good.
Great look by Hardaway. O'Neal ran out there, so he was rewarded by Hardaway in the lane and missed a very easy shot.
4:28 to go, opening quarter. Pick and roll, O'Neal, or Kendall Gill rather. Loose ball. And O'Neal goes for it. Nick Anderson has it back and puts it in.
O'Neal, great hustle on the floor. As a coach or as a fan, you love to see people who work that hard.
John Kemp. Sam Perkins ready to come in for Seattle. Kemp, reverse layup. Nope.
Another walk.
Yes. Watch Shaquille O'Neal, Chuck.
He looks like a lineman going for a fumble. Gets under. Great play, and then, of course, Anderson gets the ball, finishes off. Boy, you gotta love it. Big guy like that, a star on the floor.
Alley-oop, Hardaway. Kemp goes back defensively and makes the steal. Payton to Shrimp. Skip pass. Perkins is on the floor now. Here's Kendall Gill, and he's got it.
Playing great tonight. He's got great rhythm on his shot, catching the ball. Maybe it's okay if he's a little bit unhappy. I certainly wouldn't mind. Stay unhappy.
I get an idea that George Karl's not thrilled with the whole deal. Here's another steal. Boy, they lead the league in steals, and they got another one. Payton. Kendall Gill. Whoa, boy. Hardaway. Don Royal. Anderson.
Finished and was fouled. Got in the lane. Great pass by Royal. Somehow you can kind of sense that these two teams are up for this particular game. This is a special game. Look at that block. Here's Royal. Anderson very clever with his body. Twists inside. You can't stop him from getting a shot.
Time has been called. We've got 3:08 to go, opening quarter.
Nightly reviews of the day's testimony during Prime News and special trial editions of Larry King Live. For complete coverage of the Simpson case, turn to CNN.
Seattle Supersonics have redemption on the mind this season. 63 wins in the regular season a year ago, a first-round loss in the playoffs to Denver. George Karl evaluated that defeat.
I think if I'm evaluating it right now, I think it's been good for us. We've, I think, more consistent this season, more quiet. And I think we're a tougher team than we were last year. But our whole philosophy was to go into this year with, hey, we can't say anything. We just got to play, be better at the end of the year, and then do our talking in the playoffs.
I think the key phrase was more quiet, because he's got a club that he's got so much talent that it's very hard to get them a lot of consistent minutes. A lot of teams play 38, 40 minutes, a lot of players on teams. A lot of their guys don't get that. They're going to have to be tolerant, but they have the talent to go to the NBA Finals.
George made the point to us today that there's been so much focus on Phoenix and Utah. They've kind of quietly gotten into the draft, the mix with a 29-11 record, which is only 2 off where they were a year ago. So they're not to be ignored. Here's Perkins, gets it to Kemp. Kendall Gill from the corner. No. Rebound Hardaway. Vincent Askew, by the way, is on the floor now, number 17. He, Payton, and Kendall Gill. There's nearly another steal. How do you stop that?
You don't. When he throws that body inside like that, he's got a nice touch around the basket. Kind of spun it over his right shoulder.
Sam Perkins will shoot a couple of free throws. Perkins, who had 31 points in the win at Philadelphia the other night. Here's Shaquille.
When he gets that kind of position, talk about dead in the water. He got lucky on the catch because it's lots of spin. You're not going to stop him with those shoulders.
Shaquille O'Neal, 8 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 blocks. And Sam Perkins going to the line.
Shaquille O'Neal
one. There was a goaltend. Excuse me, Chuck.
Yeah, Shaquille O'Neal being very dominant in the lane. They've had some blocks, near blocks. He's intimidated. And that's going to haunt Seattle all night long.
Sam Perkins, the three-point play. And it's 20-19 Orlando. You commented during the break that there's a special feeling to this ball game.
Yeah, I think both clubs are emotional. It's not just a regular game. They're not thinking about tomorrow night. They both know that they're capable of winning an NBA title. And it's kind of a benchmark game. They like playing these kind of games.
Anderson, good play. Heads up.
Very alert play. Got it off of his foot. Got a new possession with 22 seconds.
Nate McMillan has come on for Seattle, so it's McMillan, Payton, Askew, Kemp, and Perkins.
As a team, Orlando has to be aware of how to play the pick and roll, because Seattle plays it differently. They force you away from it, and you don't get a chance to really run it. So you've got to take advantage of another way and step the other guy back and take the double team with the ball, which we'll try to show you tonight.
There's the entry pass to Anderson. Shot, tough shot. Nate McMillan has it. And he's going to take it all the way. Gives it off to Kemp.
It was about a 5 on a scale of 10. I thought we might see one to win it at the dunk contest.
Well, he's on the road. You know, he knows.
And it's early.
The only reaction is going to be you and me. 21-20, Seattle back on top. 1:25 to go first quarter. Hardaway finds Turner. Royal cuts, gets the pass. Too far underneath. Here's McMillan for Seattle. Leads Payton perfectly.
Oh, they get a lot of steals, get their hands on a lot of balls. Do a really good job defensively. Allow them to get in position to lead the game by 3.
Barcelona's getting ready to come back in. Here's the pass underneath.
So dominant when he gets into the lane.
Perkins. Got it.
I'm a little surprised that they haven't taken O'Neal outside. Kemp has had him once or twice an opportunity to drive on him, see what he could do, but they're not going at him to find out and make him play more out on the floor and help tire him out, as a matter of fact.
25-22. Final 30 seconds opening quarter. Back to Anderson. Here's Turner. He hasn't been able to connect, and now he does.
He's one of the great shooters in the league, but he has not had consistent playing time, but he can really hit that shot.
He's been a forgotten man this year. 20 previous games, he did not play coach's decision. This is his first start tonight.
That's why you have to stay ready. You just never know when you're going to have to step up and play in maybe the biggest game of the year.
Back it goes to Perkins. Rebound Royal. And that'll be the end of the first quarter.
The score at the end of the first quarter.
Shaquille O'Neal leads Orlando with 10 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 blocks. But it's Seattle that came back to tie it, 25 all at the end of one. Back at the Arena in Orlando, Florida, tied at the end of one, 25 all, Seattle and Orlando. Chuck Daly, let's take a look at that Seattle defense.
Watch this defense. First of all, they throw the ball into Shaq. Right there, we get a double team. Watch the ball kicked out all the way across, skip pass, swings into the corner, freezer right there. We've got another double team, and now the ball is thrown to Royal, cutting to the middle. Watch all 4 guys, freezer right there. Look at here, 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 and here. All 4 guys coming in to try to jam the defense. That is great defense. If you can get 1 double team in a series, let alone 2 and some more help, that's why they're a good defensive club and get a lot of steals.
And it all ends with a perfect pass to Gary Payton for a layup, 25 all. Here is Nate McMillan, number 10, guarded by Hardaway. Pick and roll with Kemp, and a foul away from the ball. The illegal defense is called. That's the first against the Magic. Next to lead to a technical defense. Brian Hill, aware that this is the 4th game we've televised for them, and they're now 1 and 2.
We're trying to get to 500 with him.
Boy, he's not superstitious. The tip, not good. The Kemp goes up, gets the putback.
Yeah, they made a decision to go with an outside pick and roll, and they got to the baseline because Orlando didn't help it. There's Dennis Scott. Don't get him going.
He's hit 55% of his three-point shots over the last 5 games. Perkins. Foul by Nick Anderson.
Foul number 25, Nick Anderson.
They had Dennis Scott on a quick release by Kemp on an isolation on the box. I'm surprised they didn't back it out, try to get the ball to him.
Inbounded by McMillan. Vincent Askew. There's the double from O'Neal. That leaves Kemp open. They did bring him outside.
Yeah, they did. He's going to look at his shots out there. They've got so many people that can post up on this Seattle club that if you double everybody, someone's going to get some wide open shots.
Now Brian Shaw's on the floor along with Dennis Scott for the Orlando Magic. This is Shaw, rejected by Sam Perkins into the hands of Nate McMillan. 4-on-2. The dish to Marciulionis, and the foul is going to be called on Nick Anderson.
Well, he's always been one of the great players in Europe and terrific at getting the basket and drawing fouls. But again, on the other end, the pick and roll, they played it on the high side, forced the baseline, got the tip. They're really giving them problems. What they have to do, Orlando has to change the angle, really draw the double team and get it back to the open man.
Marciulionis misses the first of 2. Cleveland leading Detroit at the half.
Yeah, Seattle already with their 5th steal of the game, and that's a lot this early in the game, heading for their 11 per game.
Well, they forced teams into 19 turnovers per ball game. And as we said earlier, they lead the league in steals. They've led the league the last 2 years. Here's O'Neal. Double comes from Marciulionis. The shot is short. Marciulionis has it. Takes it all the way, puts it up and in.
He really pushes the ball at the defense. They'll take a timeout. They don't like what's happening. I wouldn't either.
Seattle Supersonics have jumped out to a 7-point lead to open the second period. Flash. We're back in Orlando. Chuck, take us through how Seattle is playing this pick and roll.
Well, watch Marciulionis right here. He's overplaying to the top side right there. He's got him so he can't get back to the screen by O'Neal, and consequently has to go back the corner. They come over and double, get the hand up and get the tip. They play it a little bit differently than most teams. I think Jimmy Lynam in Washington does it, but it creates a little bit of problem. What Orlando has to do is learn how to, you can attack it, but you have to attack it differently. And there we saw Marciulionis getting to the basket with the right hand, nevertheless, but that's what he does best.
Marciulionis, who sat out all of 1994 with an anterior cruciate ligament. A 7-0 run now, sparked in part by Marciulionis. Kemp is also on the floor along with Perkins, Askew, and McMillan for Seattle. They lead it by 7. Here's O'Neal, kicks it back to Anderson. And the triple team, and Shaquille O'Neal gets the basket. He'll shoot a free throw.
If you don't get to the double team quickly and seal it off, foot to foot, shoulder to shoulder, he'll split it. Watch. Too much space. Here ball goes in. Watch this. They're coming, but loitering down. Forces him back out. Watch this. Too late. When he splits it like that, just too big, too strong, too much lift.
Three-point play is good. A 32-28 lead now.
Magic showing after free throw, a little 2-2-1 press, which the Magic should do a good job. I mean, the Seattle Sonics should be doing a good job of handling with their ball handling.
Marciulionis along the baseline. Scott pumps him and picks up the foul. Dennis Scott, who has been coming off the bench to the tune of 15 minutes here recently. The NBA on TNT continues tomorrow night with a doubleheader beginning at 8 o'clock. These self-same Seattle Sonics go to Atlanta to take on the Hawks in Game 1. And in Game 2, Chicago visits America West Arena and the Phoenix Suns. The NBA on TNT doubleheader tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. Sam Perkins. Tough shot. Kemp is there.
Wide open. Too many guys coming and leaving it wide open. Actually, George Karl said they haven't been playing Perkins much on the box, but they're happy about it. He's been doing some good things. Not that time.
Jump hook, good.
They got nobody that can play him right now. Nobody.
I noticed that. Brian Shaw goes left. Anderson saves it. Back it goes to Scott, who thinks about the three-pointer. And we're going to have a foul. Well, let's see who tried to defend Shaquille O'Neal.
His first
He's got it. Goes up. Look how high he is. I mean, he's throwing the ball down. That isn't even a hook shot. Because a hook shot usually starts from the shoulder, kind of has a nice arc to it. Not that time. That was straight down. Another one.
34-32, and just like that, Shaquille has hit 8 of 12 shots. Back it goes to Sam Perkins with Scott in his face. And a chance now for Orlando to tie or go on top. Hardaway for three. Rebound, Seattle. And Hardaway's going to get a reach-in foul.
Foul number 1, Penny Hardaway.
Seattle, their Achilles heel is handling that big guy in the lane, and you're really seeing the effects of that. But I think Shaq's going to have to play a lot of hard minutes tonight. We'll see what happens down the road. But they can't trap him coming late or slow. They're just too small, and they don't have the physical qualities. They're going to have to come much quicker to keep him from getting to the rim.
Over the weekend, Orlando played Milwaukee here at home, and Shaquille had to sit out that game, a laceration of his left heel. There's a second illegal defense call against Orlando. He dropped a glass while he was in his home and stepped on the glass, and it lacerated the pad on his left heel. No stitches, but he had to sit out a game. And that's a second illegal defense, which is going to cause Shaquille O'Neal to threaten to lacerate somebody else.
I guess it was fortunate it was the part of the glass, the thick part,
right,
where it was a long cut, but it could have been much worse.
That left shrimp is back on the floor. He gets the free throw. O'Neal is still exorcised by that call. He's also he's also mad. I started to say something else and realized I'm going to get in trouble here. 8:20 to go in the first half. Alley-oop for Shrimp. Back to Perkins. Here comes Scott. 3 seconds.
Too many passes. Well, let's take a look at this play and see where the illegal ball comes in. Shaquille dropping below. Yeah, he was his man is way out there. He's 2 zones below where he has to be. He had no argument.
But he made one anyway. And I noticed they listened. Underneath, put up.
Now they solved the problem. They're taking the double team, rolling quickly. And that'll give the Sonics a lot of problem playing the pick and roll like that.
O'Neal's got 13 of the last 16 points. Here's Shrimp posting up. Scott comes on the double, and the pass is put perfect.
You get Shrimp in there. He's too good a basketball player. He's got the whole package. Can pass the ball, put it on the floor, shoot it. Very smart player.
O'Neal into the corner. Here's the double from Shrimp again. And they find Hardaway along the base. And Hardaway is going to go to the free throw line. At the other end, watch Sharunas Marciulionis.
Fake. Here he takes some steps out of the double team, makes the pass cross court. Askew wide open.
Penny Hardaway goes to the line. There's Detlef Schrempf. He's got a large contingent of German television people around here tonight.
Probably because they're over for the All-Star game. They come over and they make a habit of going around seeing particular players. And of course, Detlef Schrempf, who plays for the national team.
I haven't seen this many German television people since Katharina Witt skated at the Olympics. Hardaway goes to the line.
They know how to pick good places weather-wise, although it was a little chillier today.
Right. Hardaway misses the first.
One release.
Gets one of two. 37-35. Mentioned Seattle going to Atlanta tomorrow night. The Orlando Magic has a little farther to travel after this game is over. They're going to Indiana, take on the Pacers tomorrow night, and then they're back home on Sunday against the New York Knicks. That one will attract a little attention.
Knicks playing great basketball right now. They got destroyed down here previously. Another walk. Askew going to baseline, got a little bit of trouble, and walked with the ball. This is one of those games George is giving information to his players, and they're accepting it. They want to be coached tonight because all the little things can make the difference in this particular game.
Hardaway, Perkins. That's not the matchup they wanted. Illegal defense called against Seattle.
Seattle's always on the verge of that. They're very close to that every time because of the way they play. You can really work at forcing and getting that call a little bit more on them because they're so programmed to go ahead and do certain things against what you do offensively. But you've got to give it serious thought offensively as to what you do to try to draw it.
There's Royal. Hardaway posting up again. Kicks back and finds Royal. 6:40 to go, first half of play. Foul is called. That's his third.
Oh, that's a rough one. With only 6 minutes to go and a half. A lot of people are going to get that extra playing time that they want.
Seattle substitution number 40, Sean Kemp.
Sean Kemp is quickly back on the floor. And the Shrimp, I would imagine, is going to sit for quite a while.
He won't be back this half. He'll come back the start of the next half because they don't want to pick up a fourth. And he's too valuable.
Hardaway over Askew. No, misses the shot. A week ago, we saw Penny Hardaway have a really off game. He was having migraine headaches in that game here against Chicago. Oh, my goodness, nifty move.
Yeah, Pate just blew by Hardaway, and he's got to do a better job of controlling the ball. Point guard has to control the ball or your club's in trouble defensively.
Reverse layup, no good. Tipped off Sam Perkins and out of bounds. Brian Shaw missed the layup. Penny Hardaway is 1 of 6 from the field now.
Penny's having some up and down games. Gets down on himself a little bit, I think, some nights, and he'll have to learn how to make ways to help his club and score and do the things that he has to do.
Yeah, Scott's having an off night. Off night, he's missed a couple.
For him, you expect him to make every shot. When you get the shooters, Del Curry, people like that, you expect him to make every shot.
That's right. He has been lighting it up so well in recent games. Here's Marciulionis.
Can he get to the basket?
Wow.
I'm telling you, no matter what you try to do, he's going to get in the lane. And that time, he made a sensational pass up to the baseline for the score.
41-35. The lead is 6. It was at 7.
Number 3, Dennis Scott.
Dennis Scott picks up an offensive foul.
Marciulionis, look here. getting into the lane, splits the defense, big step, actually might have got X step, slices under the lane, gets an easy basket, but he can penetrate on almost any defense or any defensive player. O'Neal, a very short rest.
Hardaway and Scott are also out. Jeff Turner back in. So let's check the lineup now. Brian Shaw, Jeff Turner, Nick Anderson, Shaquille O'Neal, and Don Royal for the Orlando Magic. Nice pass underneath. Nope, waved it off.
Yeah, that time Askew went to go around the screen, got the defensive man to go to the top, threw him away, went baseline, got wide open, but got called for the throwaway.
5:15 to go in the half. Seattle and Orlando, and a dandy here at the arena. And Shaquille O'Neal is going to go to the free throw line again. At the conclusion of tonight's game, Chuck Daly and I will be selecting the Budweiser player of the game. Shaquille O'Neal might stop by the chat tonight.
Questionable.
Last week
he blew us off.
Yeah, he was boycotting the press, and we didn't know it last week.
We understand that he may, that self-imposed exile may change. We hope so. 19 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 blocks.
He's an early leader in the clubhouse. I know that. And what a season he's having.
Well, first in points, and he's moved up in rebounding. He's now 7th, was 10th, blocks 7th, dominating player in the lane.
He is not a leader in free throw shooting. 1 of 2.
His third penalty situation.
20 points for O'Neal. He's averaging right at 30, 29.5, 29.7 actually. Here's Gary Payton. Brian Shaw guarding him. Little pick and roll. Gill and Billy Cartwright. Kendall Gill back on the floor. Misses the shot, the rebound, and the foul. O'Neal is on Kemp.
Yeah, O'Neal taking off the board with a power dribble, bringing it out himself, and Kemp reaches in and fouls him. Big rebound. All of a sudden, he looks down court, and then Kemp reaches over and grabs his right arm, and he says, why did I commit a dumb foul like that? A cheap foul in the backcourt, 90 feet from the other guy's basket. Oh, what a...
I think that's what he's saying, huh?
I'm sure. I know the coach is. Why? He can't shoot the ball from here. Why foul him?
Maybe they're just trying to get him on the line. Oh, boy. 6 free throws now for Shaquille O'Neal.
He's changed the arc every time he shot it, changed position of his hands. He has no consistent movement with a hand and arm. He's going to have to improve that down the road. Great curl, but again, the block is there, but the tip.
Sean Kemp with a tip off McMillan's miss. It's 43-36. This equals the largest lead of the game at 7. 4:25 to go opening half. Turner. Now, we talked a little bit about, here's the entry pass to O'Neal. Billy Cartwright off the glass and good.
Turned into him, hit him in the chest with the ball, backed him out of there, and threw it from his chest, and scores it.
O'Neal has every point scored by the Magic in this quarter.
In order to survive this game, he's going to have to get a lot of help and get some help from someone. Hardaway's going to have to step up and help a little bit more. He's not getting a lot of help. He's catching the ball almost every time down now.
Gill with the double. Ball rotation to Royal, puts it in.
They get baskets that way by swinging the ball.
Here's Payton. Nate McMillan slipped and fell. The shot by Cartwright. And the rebound, Brian Shaw for Orlando, 45-40. Seattle up by 5. Jeff Turner backs off. Cartwright wanting to come back and help and gives Turner the shot.
Get them back in the game. Brian Hill wanted a foul on that. He wanted a foul on that particular shot.
Hardaway's getting ready to come back on the floor. 3:04 to go first half. Gill finds McMillan. Kemp with another rebound. The putback, no, and no foul call.
O'Neal's going to stay in the backcourt. He's a little tired this time. He's not sure he wants to get down. He's playing long, hard minutes. He's really carrying this club like he did last week against Chicago.
Shaw's three-pointer is no good. Now O'Neal's got to hurry at the other end, and he's a little slow getting there. And the foul is called on Brian Shaw.
Seattle, timeout.
And a timeout charge to the Seattle Sonics. 2:31 to go, first half of play.
His first penalty situation.
If Shaquille is a little tired, and I think perhaps he is, here's an example of why.
Talk about working for your money. Watch this guy. Watch him work back in. Bangs into him right there. Could have been an offensive foul. Gets enough space, though, to get it up on the glass. But, boy, he's working. And, you know, it's a double-edged sword because if you double him, he'll throw out of it. If you don't, you cannot stop him. And that's why they have the best record in the league. Right there is the reason. Right there.
We have been told that Horace Grant will not travel with Shaquille and the rest of the team in Indianapolis after this game. Again, missed the shoot-around this morning, diagnosed with a bad back. They did take X-rays. Inconclusive, or no problem is what they said. But Grant out, Avant out. Turner, by the way, is the second leading scorer for Orlando. He's got 5.
Gary Payton at the line, shooting 2.
Gary Payton at the other end is at the line. Seattle going after what would be a record-setting 8th win in a row on the road.
I'm kind of surprised at Seattle. I thought they were going to put more pressure on the ball. Not necessarily when Hardaway was in there, but when Shaw was in there. But we haven't seen a lot of that.
Payton 1 of 2. The lead is 4 at 2:25 to go in the first half. Speaking of road victories, Utah is at Houston later tonight. They're going after their 16th in a row on the road. Congratulations, of course, to John Stockton. Fred and Dick will be coming up with a Reebok halftime report. They'll have scores and highlights, plus point guard diplomacy. In the shadow of John Stockton's milestone, they'll review the great point guards of all time. You got a choice? Do you want to keep it at a handful? Or do you want to offend a lot of people?
No, yeah, right. There's a handful out there. I mean, how do you belie Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas, and some of these kind of people? There's been some great point guards, and we can go on and on, but that's just a couple to name that have been around and played great basketball and won championships.
And if you want to go back a generation, there was a guy named Cousy who wasn't too bad a ball player.
Not bad.
46-43. 2:05 before halftime. Nate McMillan. Here's Gary Payton, goes by Royal. O'Neal comes to help out, and the shot is up and good.
Step back off the glass. Looks like a horse shot. What a tough shot.
O'Neal. Another trip to the free throw line.
And they lobbed that in such a way that he had to catch it and go to the weak side of the basket and almost got the spin off the glass.
His second penalty situation.
Let's watch Gary Payton that last trip down.
He gets to the baseline. He wanted to get all the way, got shut off. He kind of stumbles, goes off the wrong foot, so to speak, left foot, falling away, but he knows how to use the glass. All the great players know spots on the glass, know how to get it to that spot to get it in the hole.
Off the left foot, falling backwards, off the glass. Nothing but hamburger.
Yeah, that would work in a commercial.
1:45. Seattle tied 25-all at the end of the quarter. They scored the first 7 in the second stanza. And here's Sean Kemp with 2 more.
Yeah, there was the isolation out there, and O'Neal spaced him, gave him plenty of space. He decided to take the shot.
Kendall Gill guards Don Royal. Gary Payton was fronting Penny Hardaway, who posts him up and takes a tough basket. Gets the rebound and stripped of it by Payton. Kendall Gill over Turner, no. And it's going to be a foul call on Seattle.
Well, the other way, but Payton playing terrific defense and a technical on Payton. And you better be careful. If I were George Karl, I'd be up. I wouldn't say another word to Mike Mathis. In fact, Kemp came over and he ought to stand right in front of him. Don't tempt him.
Gary Payton is following him now, and Mathis teed him up. Turner shoots the technical. George Karl up. Here's the play. That was the foul called.
I don't know where Peyton was. He must have said something.
I think he whispered sweet nothings in his ear as he strolled by. Said something about off the glass.
He's still arguing about it. It wasn't me. I wasn't involved. Or he was unhappy about the non-call.
I think that's what he was arguing about. Now Turner's going to go back and shoot free throws again.
Imagine if O'Neal had Turner's touch on the foul line. 60-point games would be within reach most every night.
Yeah, but Shaquille is closing in on 500 free throw attempts for the season. He's getting very close. He's only hitting half of them. Peyton. Got it.
What a great one-on-one player. You wouldn't have thought he could even get that shot up. Looked like he had him closed down.
Nick Anderson, strong move. Peyton at the other end. McMillan. Seattle trying to force the tempo.
A little 2 for 1 here. Peyton again.
Nope. O'Neal rebound. 7 rebounds for Shaquille. Turner with the shot. He's deadly.
Gets it back in the game with his free throw shooting and the three-pointer.
Jeff Turner's in double figures with 11. We're tied at 52. Kemp.
There's what they got to do, and should have been doing it more and more and done it all night. They can get Kemp and O'Neal in isolation. I think Kemp can draw a foul or get to the basket almost every time. This time he catches it at the three-point line, steps in, backs off, gets the first step, and once he gets by him, he's going to drive the lane, get the foul, or get a pretty good shot. Whoever guy I got that matchup, I'd be looking to take advantage of it because you first of all take something out of him and you can get him in foul trouble. It's a little bit late in the half to start, but they certainly should be thinking about. Hopefully his assistants are sitting there telling him that.
1 of 2 for Sean Kemp. Final 12 seconds of the first half. 53-52. Seattle has a 1-point edge. Hardaway kicks it to Anderson. They go for Shaquille, and he's not there, and no foul calls. That's the end of the half. Gary Payton with a big half. 15 points, 3 assists, and 3 steals. Shaquille O'Neal had 25 points. 53-52. Back to Fred and Dick in Atlanta after this. Halftime, Seattle up 53-52. Largest lead by either team was 7 by the Sonics. Orlando led at 1 point by 4. Back and forth they've gone, Chuck. Any particular pattern you've noticed in the first half?
Well, I thought Seattle was in control in the second quarter till the very end, and they did it without Detlef Schrempf, who's been in foul trouble. But O'Neal has been so awesome in the post area, both offensively or in the lane, both offensively and defensively, blocking shots, scoring almost at will. It looks like it's going to be one of those games that'll go all the way.
Well, statistically, it breaks down this way. O'Neal 10 of 14. The rest of the team hit 30% for Orlando. Sonics with 6 steals. They lead the NBA in that category. The Magic had only 1. And take a look at this defensive job by Seattle.
They've been able to get their hands on a lot of balls, get deflections, get some easy baskets to the open floor, and that's what they really want to do. That's the way they want to play.
Gary Payton leads all scorers for Seattle with 15 first half points. And they've had some help from Kemp. Schrempf with only 8 points, but in 11 minutes.
Yeah, he's been in foul trouble, has 3. And watch Shaquille O'Neal. Here's a block.
I think the one play that personified him, though, was this dive for the loose ball. How many guys making as much money as he does are going to be on the floor like this?
Got a real hustle play. Get an easy basket out of that.
Gary Payton, Dennis Shrimp.
Hardaway dishing off to him. Strong, agile, back up over his head. 22 points. 10 for 14 from the field goals, 3 for 8 from the free throw line. He's having some night, and he's going to have that kind of night to beat this particular club. It'll heat up here, and I think both coaches will go a little more to their key people. Stay with them, because this is an important game for both clubs.
Seattle brings it across. Gary Payton, Kendall Gill in the backcourt. Billy Cartwright back on the floor, as is Detlef Schrempf and Sean Kemp. And the starting 5 on the floor for Orlando as well. Here's Gill, takes the jumper over O'Neal. Rims out, Donald Royal with a rebound, fouled by Cartwright.
Bill Cartwright, almost a token starter, and that's his third foul.
Well, no move made by George Karl. Here's Penny Hardaway. Back it comes to Turner. The look inside, the return pass to Donald Royal, stripped of the ball. That's a 7th steal. Here's Schrempf. Got to walk.
A walk by Schrempf. That's what happens. You don't play, you win at half, you sit around, and you're not really into the game. Hardaway on the opposite end on that pick and roll has got to take the pick and roll, take the ball to the basket to create a little more. He's just taking 1 or 2 dribbles, drawing it out, and just throwing it back. Is exactly what Seattle wants to do, because they can recover out of it.
Hardaway posting up, gets the pass, and puts it in.
Payton fought him, but when Hardaway gets active down there and catches the ball, someone's going to have to help.
Orlando regains the lead. Last time they had the lead was at 20-19. Double on Schrempf. Cartwright quickly along to Kemp. And the rebound, offensive rebound for Detlef Schrempf. Kendall Gill got it. That's for 3.
Schrempf made the play, creating the double team, getting in the seam.
Seattle back on top, 56-54. That ball tipped by Gill. Anderson takes the shot. O'Neal with a rebound. And misses, then puts this one in.
Not twice in a row he's never missed it. He's even smiling about it. How could I miss that? Seattle on second chance points with just change. 11 for Seattle, 4 for Orlando, but we just got 2 here with authority.
Bill Cartwright picks up his 4th foul. And that sends Shaquille O'Neal to the free throw line. Sam Perkins getting ready to come in. 4 of 9 from the line now for O'Neal. There's Sam Perkins.
Yeah, they shot only 50%. 9 for 18 in the first half. It's horrendous foul shooting.
Nice play by Gary Payton.
You know, when he goes and shoots, he looks a little awkward. You say, well, it's not going to go in. It's not real smooth, but he's able to get it. Whatever position he wants, he's really a terrific one-on-one player.
Hardaway backs up. Illegal defense is called against Seattle. That's the 2nd.
Look at Payton come down the lane right here. Everybody gets out of, even O'Neal kind of reaches in. Somebody should have got a shot at that, and we've got an illegal defense on the opposite end.
Gary Payton's going to put his arm around Tommy Nunes. Well, it didn't work with Mathis by whispering in his ear. Maybe the arm around Nunes will help. I don't think so. No. Gary Payton with 17 points. Hardaway really having a quiet night tonight. Anderson. Back it comes to Turner. He'll have another chance. Hardaway. That one's tipped away. Back to Hardaway. He finds O'Neal. Takes the jumper.
Very patient that time offensively. Swung the ball around. O'Neal makes a shot you don't necessarily think he can make. And I think that's one of the areas he's improved this year. Facing and got a little better touch on that shot.
28 points for Shaquille. Donald Royal with the rebound of the missed shot. 6 for him.
Seattle kind of settling for shots right now and getting themselves in a little bit of trouble.
9:18 to go, 3rd quarter. Hardaway. Yes.
Cross-court pass. Seattle don't like what's happening. Their club came out a little bit flat. They're not nearly as emotional.
TBS NBA Thursday is brought to you by Chevy Trucks and by Dutch Boy Paints.
Bud. Wines. Bud. Bud. Wines. Bud. Wines. Bud. Bud. Wines. Bud. Wines. Bud. Wines. Bud. Wines.
My hands was... They shouldn't have to take one on the ride home. That's why Chevy has the most front and rear legroom of any full-size extended cab.
Back in Orlando, where we're going to watch Shaquille O'Neal with that little soft jumper.
They swing the ball, and he just steps back, faces up. Maybe that's what he needs to do at the free throw line. It couldn't be much worse. Throws it cross court. Here it goes back to Hardaway at the top. He squares it up. Here's a little trap in the backcourt. Got a violation.
Kendall Gill with a travel.
These are the little things that coaches do. They say, well, we'll come out with a little double team here. The other club not expecting it. That's where your assistants have to remind it. They come out with a little double team sometimes out of a timeout.
Largest lead in the ball game now for Orlando. They're up by 5. O'Neal, this one is rejected by Sean Kemp. That one
will not be rejected. When you watch him play, all you think about is force.
Nice soft shot from 3 points to Detlef Schrempf.
And he got it back so easy on transition.
Schrempf is 4 of 5. Hardaway thinks about the three-pointer. Anderson with the empty pass. Turner. They get it in the hands of Hardaway. Now it's O'Neal. Too strong. Saved by Royal. 2 on the shot clock. Shot clock violation.
24-second violation.
And there's a case where it works against the team that had the ball.
Yeah, 3-0, a fast break in the open court. A sure dunk by Kemp.
I remember from my days of doing soccer, they would call that advantage no call.
Advantage no call.
Yeah, let it go.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there's that line in the middle of the court and that audio with a horn going off.
Perkins. Nope. Anderson rebound. 65-61. Jeff Turner. Here comes Payton. Seattle trying to force the tempo again. Back to Schrempf. That's for 3. Got another one.
He's got some assortment of weapons. He can put it on the floor. He can face up and shoot it. Here's a guy that hasn't taken many shots tonight. Come out of the half. A little bit of flat. Takes 2 quick ones. Gets him right back in the game.
14 points for Schrempf now. Basket. The foul call, I think, on Sam Perkins.
Hardaway can pretty much do that all night. He can get in the seam the defense. He hasn't. He's been pulling up. That time when he just dropped it off.
Nick Anderson at the line. Shooting 2.
Payton knows who he has. Gets a little fake. Squares it up. Bullseye.
Anderson at the free throw line gets the first of 2. This entire team had problems at the free throw line. It just wasn't O'Neal in the first half. As a team, they were 9 of 18. They are 26th in the NBA at the free throw line.
Here's your trap again. Little 2-2-1. Trying to take time off the clock. They're going to attack it. Should be a good shot right here.
Turner comes over on Perkins.
Defensively, you can get back to squaring up like that. You're in good shape.
Behind the back pass. Schrempf in the corner. Shot is good again. That's another 3-pointer. And we're tied at 67.
He's having some year. No wonder he's an all-star. They're getting excited now.
Shot clock at 10. Hardaway takes the jumper for 3. And that'll be Seattle ball. Last 3 baskets by Seattle have been from long range. And it's enabled them to tie this one up at 67 with 6:29 to go, third quarter.
They had Perkins posted up on Turner, want to take advantage of it. They've got a matchup there. Kemp on O'Neal. Surprised they haven't gone to it, cleared, and see what they can do with it. Here he's got the ball facing O'Neal, but he's going to be a passer. And he's going to go to the post-up to try to score on him. Over the top, and that's a tough way to do it.
Is it ever? Ah, what a steal by Kemp. Back to Payton. Another three-pointer.
You know, we in the East, in particular, don't get a chance to see him play quite as much, but what a basketball player.
Last 4 baskets by Seattle have been from three-point land. This one rims out. They're going to get Shrimp over the back. That's his 4th foul.
Came over the back, and boy, that one hurts. George Karl doesn't like that. And there's 5:46 to go in the third. He's got to get him out.
Seattle substitution. Number 50, Irvin Johnson.
Irvin Johnson will replace Detlef Shrimp.
That is first appearance of the night. They're going to time out Seattle.
Timeout.
Seattle calls time with a score 70-67 Sonics.
Here's your chance to
Shortly after we went to the break, George Karl got teed up. So Orlando will be shooting a technical.
Yeah, he was very unhappy about the call on Shrimp over the back. 12-2 run, the last 2:54. All 3-pointers and all 4 possessions. O'Neal did not touch the basketball on the other end, which has gotten the Sonics this particular lead, although they have a chance to
Let's go back and take a look, Chuck, at this play.
Shrimp coming back over. He's going to get a little push off. It wasn't much, but it was a little push off with the left elbow. Wasn't a lot.
Sean Kemp was coming over here trying to watch the monitor to see if it was a good call. Jeff Turner goes to the free throw line. This is the technical foul.
Jeff Turner making the technical.
And now the Magic will inbound it, trailing by 2 at 70-68.
Let's see if they get the ball to O'Neal. They need to try to get it in his hands here.
Hardaway back to Turner. Anderson, there's O'Neal. Perkins with the double. Quick hands of Gary Payton, tipped away. 7 on the shot clock.
7 on the shot clock. They went to a lot of motion to try to get the ball. They went strong side, come back weak side. Now they're in the backcourt, and they're going to have to get it up quick. Hardaway's going to have to make a move, try to get a shot off.
Turner. Got it.
Very poor defense because, you know, Hardaway, you got to play the guy in the corner. He's going to try to penetrate and kick off with only 7 seconds on the shot clock.
Season high of 15 points now for Jeff Turner. 5:09 to go, third quarter. Here's Perkins back again on Turner. Has to alter the shot because of O'Neal.
Yeah, not a very strong attempt. Here's Payton.
By Payton. Travel. Oh, boy. Wow.
Yeah, he can plead his case all he wants. He's not going to get the call because once he makes a definitive call on a play like that. Beautiful steal. Comes from behind right here. Yeah, good call. He did walk with it. Took the extra step trying to get away. He's quick, but he's not that quick.
Looked a little like Emmitt Smith. That's a 3-yard gain. Yes, he did travel.
There's Johnson just grabbing, had no chance. Not going to get the shot off. O'Neal responded very smartly there. He did not like that grab. Watch him. Laying hard. There's a push.
50, Irvin Johnson.
And a technical foul has been called on Shaquille O'Neal.
And a technical foul on number 32, Shaquille O'Neal.
Frankly, Johnson's grab was a little stronger than just a normal foul. Watch right here. He grabs and hugs him and really could be close to a flagrant. It wasn't a flagrant foul, but it was an awfully strong foul.
Sam Perkins made the free throw while we were looking at the replay. And now Shaquille O'Neal will go to the line. Remember what Brian Hill told us a couple of weeks ago? People ought to be a little careful about this because he's near the boiling point with the foul problem.
Yeah, he's got upset about it because too many people are getting too physical in creating the foul, and he makes the free throw. Yeah, we've talked about it before. I mean, there's one very simple answer. You make these free throws, and there won't be any basketball games. The Orlando Magic will waltz to an NBA title.
Right. Tied at 71. 4:40 to go, third quarter. Gill slips. No call. Kemp, no. Rather, Johnson, no. Kemp couldn't get the rebound. 71-71. O'Neal calls for it. Turner tries to get it to him. Back to Jeff Turner. Rebound, Kendall Gill. Quickly to Payton. Nice feed. Oh, dandy.
Yeah, Payton's so smart. He looked over the top, saw Johnson. Didn't like the passing angle. Got the proper pass to the right guy. Here he got his hands on another one. They're really aggressive defensively, leaving some people open, and Royal responds.
Tied again at 73 with 3:54 to go, third quarter. This has been worth the price of admission. 11th tie in the ball game. Largest lead by either team was 7. That was Seattle. Here's Payton. Gill for 3. No.
O'Neal out on the dribble, almost leading the break.
Hardaway guarded by Gill. O'Neal wants it and gets it. Double comes from Perkins. That's back to Turner, and they find Anderson.
Seattle doing a good job of scrambling, getting back defensively, matching up.
Johnson with a help. Anderson over the back. Loose ball picked up by Irvin Johnson. Rejected by Hardaway. Foul called.
Johnson comes up with the ball, tries to make that overhead pass. He made the wrong place. The guy had both hands up, trying to throw it through the picket fence.
Seattle substitutions, number 17, Vincent Askew, and number 10, Nate McMillan.
Askew and McMillan come into the game now for Seattle. Nick Anderson injured his left wrist, it appeared, and he's out.
Replacing Nick Anderson.
He really got hacked on the wrist, and possibly very quick pain could go away, but they're giving him a lot of attention on the bench.
O'Neal back at the free throw line.
Let's take a look here. Loose ball. There he makes a move, and when he falls on his arm. Looks like his wrist is bothering him. And O'Neal shows that follow through and gets 2. Press is bothering Seattle a little bit, which I didn't think was happening. Now the clock is down to 14. Now they got to go try to get a shot.
75-73, McMillan. Here's Askew. Hardaway flies in his face. Askew misses. Royal rebound. Orlando up by 2.
What a great pass by Shaw.
Orlando up by 4.
Could be the play of the game.
Yes.
Crowd getting involved.
Shaw with the foul. Take a look at that last play.
What a great pass by Shaw. Seeing Hardaway cutting, sees him going on a back door, gets it right up around front of the rim. But Hardaway.
There was just a second to go. Back live. Underneath, here's Perkins. Gary Payton, no. Turner with a rebound. That's 7 rebounds for Jeff Turner.
Seattle not getting anything, not getting the good shots that they need.
2 minutes, less than 2 minutes remaining in the quarter.
Pass goes awry for Shaw.
Seattle substitution.
Royal was cutting.
Yeah, he decided to go backdoor. Here comes Dennis Shrimp with 1:57 to go in the third. Kind of a tough move to make because, you know, if he picks up his 4th here or 5th, it's a real problem.
George Karl sensing this thing getting away from the Sonics with Shrimp back on the floor. Here's the pick and roll. Payton back to Shrimp. Perkins quickly right side for McMillan. No. Another rebound for Jeff Turner. O'Neal, baseline. Seattle ball. Dennis Scott is going to come and replace Jeff Turner, who ought to get nice hand as he goes to the bench.
Jeff Turner's done a terrific job replacing Grant tonight and giving him significant scoring and minutes. And now they would like to see Dennis Scott get off a little bit offensively. They've got the lead by 4 here, and Seattle is rattled.
They've taken Nick Anderson to the locker room. And the foul before the shot.
Foul number 20, Brian Shaw.
Brian Shaw picks up his third.
This is what can happen just when your season is sailing along, and then bang, bang, little minor injury. Hopefully it's a minor injury. Not good when they take him to the locker room.
Marshallonis comes back on the court now for Seattle, replacing Gary Payton.
Yeah, as does Turner, giving O'Neal just before the quarter with 119, trying to get him to 119 and get him the quarter rest because he's going to have to play strong minutes in the 4th quarter.
Perkins. And the foul is going to be called on Don Royal.
His first penalty situation in effect.
And the penalty is in effect. Askew will go to the line.
Vincent Askew shooting 2.
All-Star Friday in Phoenix, next Friday, 10 p.m.
It choked you up, huh? Askew. And that'll be followed by All-Star Saturday. Chuck's going to get his breath back here in just a second.
Don't drink at the wrong side. Goes down the wrong pipe, as they say.
There's the lineup. Askew cuts the lead in half, 77-75. Alley-oop, got it.
They're playing that overplay, and it's reversing, getting the basket. They've got 2 great. Those are not easy passes to make. Very tough plays to make.
Hardaway. And the ball is lost. Saved by Scott. In the corner, Turner. McMillan for Seattle. 45 seconds to go. Detlef Schrempf, 2.
Got back within 2.
6 of 7 from the field for Detlef Schrempf. Dennis Scott. Nope. McMillan. Loose ball foul called on Donald Royal.
Foul number 5, Donald Royal.
You sense that Orlando had control of the game. O'Neal goes out of the game and gets a little bit frantic. And now, here we are, Seattle right back in the game. Of course, Schrempf 6 for 7 in very limited time.
McMillan shooting 2.
McMillan goes to the free throw line. Irvin Johnson getting ready to come back in. Second-year man from New Orleans, number 50. And here's McMillan at the line.
With the amount of scoring that these two clubs do, Seattle scores 110 a game, Orlando 111. We're not going to, I don't think we're going to come anywhere near that tonight. And this is what happens in big games and in playoff basketball. That's why you have to take advantage of special situations to get good shots and be able to score, because you're not going to be able to get as many easy baskets.
Kendall Gill comes back in. Schrempf will rest now. And Irvin Johnson comes on the floor as well.
George Karl took Schrempf out. He don't want him to play defense on this possession. 32 seconds and potentially pick up a foul. He'll probably come right back in starting the 4th quarter.
Missed free throw by The Supersonics, it's 25 seconds to go in the quarter, 79-78. Royal to Scott. Brian Shaw looks for Scott, finds him. Rejected by Irvin Johnson. Saved by Seattle. Here comes McMillan. 8 seconds to go. Left side. Basket is good, and he'll shoot a free throw.
Another steal, got their hand on the ball. Terrific defense. They're so aggressive, and they get out and run so well.
That all began with this block, Chuck.
Dennis Scott trying to do something he doesn't necessarily do. Get out, McMillan in the open court, and Askew can really finish this, change his hands, so strong. This kid's a heck of a basketball player. He was on my team in Tokyo, and I found out really how good he was.
81-79, like that. Seattle's back on top. The dish. No basket. We've reached the end of 3 with Shaquille O'Neal on the bench for the last minute or so. He's got 33 points, but his team trails 81-79. Back to Orlando for the final stanza right after this. The arena filled to capacity in the heart of downtown Orlando, Florida, where the Magic have won every time they've stepped on the court at home this year. 21 previous excursions, but they trail by 2 right now, 81-79. Here's how these teams rank offensively in the league. Pretty good.
And this was Seattle having a very slow start, but have really come on. And, of course, the Magic now playing without Grant or Anderson.
Anderson's in the locker room. Horace Grant couldn't suit it up tonight with a bad back. Hardaway posting up. Turner. There's Dennis Scott. 81-79. O'Neal's back on the floor. Shot clock at 7. Turner muscles his way.
No basket, 3-second violation.
And a 3-second violation call.
Swung the ball too many times, and then they end up without getting a good shot. They will be tested to keep that streak going tonight.
This is not the first time that Brian Hill's bunch has trailed at the end of 3 here. They've trailed 4 other times going into the final stanza, including the game we did last Thursday. They came back to win each time, but here, what a pass.
What great execution. They set the play up, overplayed. Shrimp just going backdoor and getting the easiest kind of basket. Now 7 for 8 from the field.
18 points with limited minutes because of foul trouble. Hardaway gets it back to Shaw. Foul on the other side. Illegal defense call.
Against the Sonics.
Another illegal defense. They're going to shoot a technical foul. If you're going to go, you got to go. You can't be cheating in and going back and forth.
Jeff Turner will shoot the technical.
Jeff Turner shoots the technical.
Hardaway on the post-up is so good at getting the ball back. Most guys catch it with 2 hands, throw it back out. He'll catch it with 1 hand and go out quickly, and it really makes problems for the defense when they're trying to double him because they've already started it, and it's too late.
83-80. Here's Hardaway. There's the defensive switch. O'Neal wants it. He's being fronted by Askew, and a foul is going to be called on Vincent Askew.
Foul number 17, Vincent Askew.
That's the 3rd foul on Askew.
First team foul.
Well, the Visa leaderboard tonight. Look at the point differential. Utah in double digits, and then Orlando and Seattle. Pretty good averages themselves.
Phoenix and 4 of the best teams in the league. Portland not quite in that category, but surprisingly up there in the 5th position.
O'Neal. Hardaway. That's for 3. Scott
doing what he does best. He's really found a role here in this club. Has a much better attitude about it than really one of the classic 3-point shooters.
Shrimp.
Foul number 31, Jeff Turner.
Foul is on Jeff Turner.
His 4th first team foul.
Let's take a look at Dennis Scott.
One of those guys that gives you instant offense. He got lucky on the deflection there, but was set to shoot it.
Marciulionis
had 2 turnovers since he's been in the game. He's feeling it again.
by 3. Back-to-back trays for Dennis Scott. Pick and roll. Here's Perkins. That quiets the crowd.
And they had Tremp at the top. They had either option. Seattle comes down and flows right into their offense. It's like Bill Cartwright ready to come into the game.
Tremp backs off Hardaway. Turner for 3. Marciulionis, 4-on-2. Tremp. Good adjustment in the air.
Yeah, Seattle has nobody right now. The only guy with any kind of size is Perkins to play O'Neal. So they're going to probably come with Cartwright to try to control him a little bit and not give some easy shots.
Scott, they come out to defend him this time, and he goes off the glass.
He took an easy shot, went by him, took the close range shot using the glass. What a weapon. Said it before, and I think he's going to be crucial to them throughout the season, in the playoffs. Great pass.
That's 5 fouls on Jeff Turner, and that's a spot where they're woefully weak tonight. Avent not playing, Grant not playing.
Without Anderson, they're going to have to find someone else. Royals sitting over there. They'll be back in the game at some point.
A report from the bench for Nick Anderson is a bruised left wrist. They're evaluating in the locker room right now. I'm sure they'll X-ray. And Perkins at the line.
Seattle's showing that they can play a close game like this, stay in the game, and there's Pat Williams, original general manager, used to be with Philadelphia and Chicago, an outstanding speaker, 18 kids now, 4 of his own, adopted the others, terrific individual.
Yes, he is.
Hired me in the NBA for a very low sum of money.
You didn't get Shaquille O'Neal money, huh? Ah, but look at you now. And the 22nd timeout called by the Orlando Magic.
22nd timeout, Orlando.
Shrimp came off the ball, played up court, came off the ball, took away the passing lane, forced him into 22nd.
89-88 is the score right now. Brian Hill and Richie Adubato. Orlando 21-0 this year. They're running away with the East, aren't they?
Yeah, they really are. It'll be an interesting game Sunday. The Knicks, to see how they stack up. They were demolished the last time they played. See if they're playing better basketball at this point. But Brian O'Neal, but Brian Hill talked to O'Neal, and I don't see what the debate is about. Just get it to O'Neal and live off of it, because you're going to double. Take the 2 seconds.
Now we've received an official injury report on Nick Anderson. They say the X-rays were negative. That's good news. 58-54, the Utah Jazz going after their 16th road win in succession. Here in Orlando, Seattle's going after their 8th in a row. Last loss was December in Los Angeles on the road. Brian Shaw. Here's Dennis Scott and Shaquille O'Neal. Jump step, rebound, Seattle.
Bill Cartwright. Perkins getting a little off the box there.
Oh, what a tip. What a great job of positioning by Askew.
An easy tip, got inside the defense.
91-88. Hardaway posting up again. Shaw.
Got the baseline, got it to O'Neal. He ripped it up and in. We're getting blocked by the official. You are here. I know, it's very difficult to see. Some nights you never see that. Tonight we've seen it all night. Some guys decide that's the position they want.
I've seen a lot more of his hip than I care to. Marciulionis for 3, off the mark. Shaw with a rebound. And Orlando with a chance to reclaim the lead.
Wide open Hardaway. Bad matchup. Marciulionis taking an outside jumper, which he usually doesn't do. Likes to get to the basket. Misses kind of badly. And that puts the Magic on top by 1.
Hardaway had that slow first half. He's 5 of 6 in the second half. Perkins to Marciulionis. Shrimp. Oh, what a hard basket.
What a move, splicing up underneath. Didn't think I thought he'd get the shot blocked. Somebody get a hand on it. Able to split the defense on the move.
George Karl's going to make 3 substitutions here in just a second. Kemp and Cartwright getting ready to come in. That basket no good, and Marciulionis gets the rebound. No call. Perkins to Shrimp.
Oh, what a pass.
Askew stripped. Perkins. Yes!
6'3" for a big guy. He's really got great touch from that line.
Time has been called by Orlando. Flag. Time now for tonight's Dutch boy in the paint. Among the All-Stars, Kemp with 13 points, O'Neal 35. How about this game that Detlef Schrempf is having?
In limited minutes, been in foul trouble all night, but has really leavened for 14 field goals. And George could see, look at this move on the baseline. Looks like he's sealed off, splits them both, fakes up and under, little lofted shot over the rim. What a year he's having. And you know, when a coach says that to you, you say, yeah, okay, I understand it's a good year, but I didn't realize how good.
96-92 Sonics. Trying to win for the 8th time in a row on the road, trying to hand Orlando its first defeat of the season at home. Underneath it goes to Hardaway. Quickly back to Royal. Here's Scott for 3.
They just double down inadvertently and give him that wide open shot. I love it. Sometimes coming out, playing him straight up. Make him earn it. Don't give him such an easy one. They've got great three-point shooters out there.
11 points in the last couple of minutes. At the other end, nice tip and a save by Hardaway. 95-96, Seattle leads it. Shaw. Shaw kicks it to Donald Royal, who takes the shot. Got it.
Got the lead again. 17th lead change tonight.
6:10 remaining in regulation play. Gary Payton, Cartwright, Askew, here's Schrempf, and Kemp.
Schrempf trying to get to the basket, draws the foul.
Sam Perkins and Nate McMillan will come back in. Next Thursday night, I'm going to get to go close to home. The Golden State Warriors take on the Denver Nuggets. Chuck and I will be there at McNichols Arena next Thursday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. I hope that one will match this one. I don't hold much hope that it will, but I'd like for it to.
Schrempf again, penetration, kicks it out. McMillan stepping up.
98-97, 5:37 to go in regulation play.
18th lead change. Here we're going to go pick and roll. Brian Shaw and O'Neal.
Schrempf comes out to work on Scott. Royal goes hard to the basket. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, and Perkins is hurt. He got hit hard. Didn't know if he established position, but he did get the call. Let's take a look at it. There's the pass. Starts in the lane. Yes, he went hard into him. You know, it's a matter of force and how hard he went, put his knee up. Mike Mathis decides, I'm going to give it to the defensive guy for taking that kind of hit.
Perkins takes the charge. The foul is on Royal. 5:12 to go in the ball game. Hardaway comes to help defensively. They get it to Schrempf. Back to Perkins. Quickly over to Payton for 3, and he got it.
Oh, right at the clock.
26 points for Gary Payton tonight.
The Seattle is some kind of basketball team. They keep responding. O'Neal that time decided to go against the double team and did not get a good shot. Schrempf, very unselfish. Ball stripped out of bounds. Seattle's ball.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nick Anderson has re-aggravated a left wrist.
And Seattle will inbound it. Sam Perkins, 101-97. Seattle is 9 of 16 from three-point land tonight. 9 of 16. And, of course, Orlando hasn't been shabby with Dennis Scott. Travel.
He looks... It wasn't a tough play, just kind of standing there to make a pass. Those kind of unforced turnovers, as they say in tennis, really hurt you, particularly with a 4-point lead.
Almost like he lost his concentration.
Oh, what a lob! Oh! Somebody fell asleep.
101-99. Here's Payton, Hardaway. McMillan off the mark. O'Neal with a rebound. And a chance for a tie or to regain the lead. Royal rejected.
Great defensive play. Orlando crowd wanted foul, but there was no foul on that play.
Oh, what a beautiful play. No call.
And a layup on the other end if he can run it down. Gary Payton made some defensive play, and he says, you hit it out of bounds.
What an effort by Payton.
Look from where Payton comes from, running him down from the middle of the court, reaches in. Oh, let's see if we can get a look at it, see if he gets it off. I think it would. Yeah, it does go off Orlando's foot. And O'Neal gets fouled.
Foul number 10, Nate McMillan.
Foul is on Nate McMillan. Let's take a look at that. Was it Royal or Payton? Who did they go off?
Shaquille O'Neal at the line, shooting.
I believe it went off Donald Royal. No, that's a quick one, though. O'Neal's at the line. He's now 6 of 12 for tonight.
And a crucial one. We'll see if the old theory holds up. First team to 100 wins. Seattle got the 101 first. Let's see if it holds up. But O'Neal responds. 2 big free throws.
We're tied at 101. They're trying to work it.
They don't have much clock.
5 on the shot clock. Tough basket. Tip is too strong by Kemp.
They wanted to go to Perkins on the box. And here, the Magic going to go to trying to get the lead. Oh, wide open.
Hardaway, no. Here comes Shrimp. Oh, what a pass.
What a play. Just keeps penetrating, pushing the ball. Great vision on the floor. It's a very easy basket.
That's 4 assists for Detlef Shrimp and a 2-point Seattle lead. 2.5 remaining in regulation. Shaquille again.
Timeout, Seattle.
Foul.
Sonics, timeout. The foul number 10, Nate McMillan.
Foul is on Nate McMillan. Time has been charged to Seattle. We'll be right back.
Nice cash winner.
2:22 remaining in regulation. Vern Lundquist, Chuck Daly back in Orlando. The Sonics up by 2. Orlando undefeated at home this year. And the reset, Sonics with 2 timeouts and a 20. They have 1 foul to give. The Magic have all 3 timeouts. That is, of course, the date of the 124-84 game between these two. Well, this one I don't think is going to be decided by any 16 points.
Absolutely not. 20, trying to preserve this home court record of not being defeated. The only team left in the league.
Well, let's see who's got whom on the court now. For Seattle, it'll be Shrimp and McMillan, Payton, Kemp, and Perkins. Dennis Scott is joined by Turner with 5 fouls, Shaw, O'Neal, and Hardaway.
And Perkins obviously going to play O'Neal. They'll double and give a wide open shot to someone. I think they'd like to delay it if they can.
Here's Hardaway. Back it comes to Scott. O'Neal gets position on Perkins. The double comes from McMillan. Hardaway's open. No. O'Neal with a rebound. Scott. Tripped right out on him.
2 minutes remaining in the quarter.
2 remaining. O'Neal. No. Rebound, Kemp.
Big rebound.
That's his 13th of the game, Chuck. 103-101.
They'll work here. They'll try to get the ball in Shrimp's hands if they can.
Scott guards him.
Yeah, he's going to work Dennis Scott. He's going to either get a shot and terrific hands by Dennis Scott. Gets a hand on the ball. And there's only 2 seconds on the shot clock. They're going to have to come up with a set play. They need a good shot. 131. He gets this. Oh, and they get the foul.
My goodness.
Oh, what a killer call. The one thing you don't want to do is not foul on this. O'Neal steps away. He gets up, and they get him on the arm.
Sean Kemp at the line. He is 1 of 2 at the line tonight.
George Carlin talking to him today saying, you know, the home court is a nice advantage, but we really believe we can win anywhere in the league. And playing the way they play, you know, that last year, those losses to Denver, looks like it has tough with this club. They're going to pressure a little bit, give an open shot right here. I'm surprised. Now's the time. You got to get a solid stop. Got the matchups right where you want them. Clock running down.
They get it to Scott. Takes a long three-pointer. No good. Seattle ball.
On the line, Sonics ball.
4-point lead, 1:10 on the clock. Payton will really work. They'll try to get the ball in Shrimp's hands here. Instead, they're gonna work Kemp over there.
Sean Kemp, Payton, and Hardaway. Shot clock at 10. Back in the hands of Gary Payton. There's the shot from the corner off the glass. Orlando ball.
Yeah, Kemp lost control. 48 seconds on the clock.
Timeout, Magic. Orlando.
Timeout, Orlando. 48.4 seconds left. Magic haven't lost at home this year. They trail to Seattle by 4 with 48.4 seconds and a foul to give for Seattle, Chuck.
Crucial. Seattle has the foul to give. I'm sure these remind them that they want to run some clock if they can, and they, if necessary, if O'Neal gets a position, they'll foul and put him on the line. In this kind of situation, I have seen O'Neal come from the opposite foul line, make a cutoff, 2 back picks, and go right to the basket, and they go right to him on a direct pass. Let's see what they do.
Well, let's check.
Yeah, there's plenty of time. You know, it's 48 seconds. They'll take a 2, or they'll take a 3. But this Seattle club, with their quick hands, can get a deflection and a steal.
Seattle substitution number 17, Vincent Askew.
Vincent Askew's on the floor now for Seattle. Dennis Scott will inbound for the Orlando Magic. He gets it in the hands of Shaquille O'Neal.
They want to make sure they got it in. They're going to Hardaway on the box, on the isolation. Kemp on him.
Backs in, takes it, got it!
Big basket off the glass. He's terrific. Classic 20-second timeout.
Oh, what a big-time play by Penny Hardaway that cuts the lead in half to 105-103.
Got a 2-point lead, 37 seconds to go, and they've got the clock. Seattle will try to get a very good shot or get to the foul line because there's another possession with only 24 seconds. Watch Hardaway, back him in, and he's got Kemp on him. Kemp goes up, he fakes him in the air. Look how high he put it on the glass. Here it is again. Step away, glass, and now within 2.
Anthony Hardaway's numbers are up this year. He had a really anemic first half tonight, but my goodness, he's come on strong in the second half of play. 13 points. Now, if they go to the line, This is a huge difference for Seattle tonight. They are 16 of 20 at the free throw line, and you know about Orlando's problems.
Magic going to pressure. They can't take the ball to half court on the 20. They're going to take it down by the bench. They got to get in. They got Payton. They'll look for a quick double team. They need to make sure they got a ball handler handling the ball.
They got it to Payton.
17 seconds. They're going to work, try to get the ball. Look for Shrimp. They're going to try to post up Shrimp. And Donald Royal, he's looking at the clock.
No!
Got the miss.
And called the timeout. They got the play they wanted.
Yeah, they got the play. The ball in the hands of the right guy. Got a good shot. Here he is working the box, knowing the clock. On Royal. Steps in. Gets some contact. But he had a pretty good look at it. All he had to do is get it up high enough. We got a 2-point game. 15 seconds.
And time has been called. We'll be right back.
Flash of the
105-103 Sonics, and Chuck, they still have that foul to give.
Yeah, I was surprised with Kemp on. I guess they thought Kemp could play Hardaway straight up, but with a foul to give, they take the foul. Then with only a limited time on the clock, they have to take it back out on the side. They still have that foul to give, and they have to take it here at some point. I don't know whether Orlando will look for the quick shot, and I sense that Shaquille O'Neal may end up, with the ball and being fouled, but last time they gave it to Hardaway so that if he goes to the foul line, he's more comfortable there. We'll see what happens. This one's all it's been cracked up to be. Two outstanding NBA basketball clubs, either of whom could be in the finals. They're not playing the out-of-bounds tough. They're going to let them make an easy entry. And it goes to Turner.
Back to Hardaway.
They got a foul to give. Are they going to take it? 12, 11. Don't let him get a shot off. Take it. Then
there
they took
it is.
Yep.
McMillan fouls Turner.
And they got almost 8 seconds off the clock. Now Orlando has one timeout, and they're going to take it. That's their final timeout.
Billy Cartwright has come on for defensive purposes for Seattle. We'll be right back. Sonics up by 2, 105-103, 7.8 remaining. And Orlando will have the ball to inbound. Seattle going after their 8th straight in a row. Their last loss was at Los Angeles at the end of 1994. This would be, of course, by far the most significant of those 8 victories.
Yeah, they'd love to have this one. It'll be interesting to see. There was no pressure on the ball of Orlando out of bounds last time. I don't see how they can let them make an easy pass from out of bounds unless they take that guy off and let him go double team the ball. You got to watch for O'Neal coming to the ball, reversing in a lob situation, but Hardaway also catching the ball and driving the lane. These are the things that coaches spend a lot of time on, making sure they get a good shot. All Brian Hill wants right now is a good shot.
And they are going to contest the inbound pass now with Nate McMillan.
Yeah, they're going to contest it. And O'Neal is going to screen for Hardaway. And he's going to try to penetrate off of O'Neal and get some kind of a shot. He's in. Doesn't get it, but they called a foul. Mike Mathis makes the call.
At the end of the game, Mathis makes the foul call.
Here's Hardaway driving the baseline, getting there.
Kenny Hardaway at the line, shooting 2.
Wow.
A lot of daylight.
My goodness, Hardaway's at the line. 2 of 4 so far tonight. Oh, my goodness.
2 seconds on the clock.
Shrimp is trying to get back in, and he does.
Now they've got to play the miss. Hardaway will probably try to miss it. Cartwright's got to box out. They got to keep everybody off the backboard. Not allow the tip in. No good. Got to hit the rim.
It'll be Seattle's ball, and they call time.
Timeout, Seattle.
How about that? If you're Orlando, you want Penny Hardaway on the line in that situation.
Absolutely. He drew the foul, went to the line. It's the one guy you'd like to have there.
And Chuck, we talked early on about how it wasn't just Shaquille O'Neal with problems at the free throw line.
No, this whole club, I was talking to Jack Gibbons even at halftime, who does their games, does the color for the Magic, and he said, can you believe their foul shooting? And this is the kind of thing that they're going to have to recover from or prove on, whatever they have to do when they get down to some very tough games in the playoff series. But we got to remember they're playing without three key people. Playing without Avent, playing without Horace Grant, and Nick Anderson was hurt in the first half.
And for Seattle, they're trying to win their 8th in a row. They're in a heck of a battle with Phoenix, Utah, Houston, San Antonio. That the chase out west, it appears, is going to go right down to the last week or 10 days.
Yeah.
Let's go.
You gotta hit the rim in that situation. We've seen that twice, though, recently, where they have missed the rim. I hope he knows the rules. Just going to try to foul very quickly, and Shaquille O'Neal is going to play the ball and make it very tough to inbound it.
Nate McMillan gets it into Sam Perkins, who is fouled by Dennis Scott. And Sam Perkins will go to the free throw line. A Seattle team that is 16 of 20 at the line so far tonight, and Perkins has helped that cause. He's 4 of 4.
George taking no chance, taking Detlef Schrempf out and smiling about it as a Schrempf, but he said this game is over, but he don't want to take a chance. Stranger things have happened. They really have.
Perkins at the line, 1.8 seconds remaining. Where have I heard that amount of time before? Chicago comes to the line. Whoa!
However, Orlando has no timeouts. They're going to have to push it full court. They also have a play set for this. Shaw's going to get the inbounds, try to penetrate, get the shot off.
Donald Royal heaves it toward midcourt. And Penny Hardaway is fouled.
The foul number 1, Penny Hardaway.
The foul is on Hardaway.
Is fifth penalty situation in effect.
We were blocked by the official again. They've begun to take roots in front of our booth.
It looks to me like the clock is going the opposite way.
Yeah, it's at 1.8. Just as it was when the inbound pass was made. Yeah. That's interesting. You'd think a 10th of a second had to have expired.
I would think so. Although it was in the air for a long time.
The foul on Penny Hardaway is an offensive foul.
George Carl was just told no time expired.
So try to get it in again, and Schrempf's coming in this time. They're taking no chance. Rescue. Players do not like this for whatever reason. Coaches doing it for all the right reasons, but players really don't like it.
We were told that the foul occurred before the ball got there. There's the heave. And the winning streak continues for George Karl and the Seattle Supersonics. And the winning streak comes to an end for Brian Hill and the Orlando Magic. The final 106-103.
Coaches Colin Show, 580 WDBO.
And the player of the game, the Budweiser player of the game, with 22 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 9 of 13 field goals, and that in limited minutes because of foul problems tonight. But it was really a terrific performance for a man who's going back to the All-Star game, Detlef Schrempf. And he is our Budweiser player of the game as Seattle wins its 8th in a row on the road. And they to continue what has been a very, very nice record. Congratulations to you. Heck of a game.
Well, thank you very much.
Chuck?
Detlef, you know, you're having kind of an unusual year, maybe even better year than you've ever had. Any particular reason for it?
No, not really. I feel pretty comfortable now with the guys, you know, going through training camp and having a year and a half now with everybody. I kind of know now what everybody is doing on the court. and I feel very comfortable shooting the outside shot. You know, I've never been an outside shooter, and now I feel comfortable shooting it.
Well, it's a style of play that allows that. The loss last year to Denver, what has it done to this club? You look like you're very comfortable, home or away, very confident club. Nothing seems to rattle you.
Well, we had our tough times. Early in the season, we struggled, and, you know, we lost 2 games last week at home. But I think we matured. We're still emotional, but we're not as emotional as we used to be. And we just, even when we go down 10 on the road, we have a tendency to hang in there and come back.
You know, it's hard to pick one game out of an 82-game season and say, boy, this one really means a lot. But I would think all of you approach this game with a special intent tonight.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we beat them by 40 at home early in the season. And, you know, they've been talking all week about, you know, getting it back to us and all that. And we just, we felt if we have a good start, we have a chance of winning the ball game. And we had a good start.
What is it about being on the road? Is it a time for you guys just to get away from everything back in Seattle? I mean, you're 8 in a row now.
Well, we're just playing well on the road. I don't think we want to stay on the road. I know I feel a lot better at home, but you know, we had a couple easy games on the road, and that got our confidence going. And then we lost. You know, before that we lost some we shouldn't have, but now we win the close ones on the road, and that really helps.
Well, it's a nice way to go into Atlanta to play tomorrow night, isn't it?
Yeah, another one.
Yeah, one more in a long list. Detlef, congratulations.
Thank you.
Terrific win for the Seattle Supersonics. They end the Orlando Magic's home winning streak at 21. 106-103 was the final, and right now, let's go back to our Atlanta studios with Fred and Dick.
Vern, Chuck, thank you very much. 8 straight road wins ties a franchise record for Seattle, and the Magic slumping to 21-1 at home.
Well, don't forget now, Detlef said that they were ready for this game and they remembered the big win and the things that the Orlando players were saying. But Horace Grant didn't play. That's a pretty crucial guy not to have in the ballgame.
Yeah, they were still in the game right until the very end. Now, we've got highlights of other action going on tonight. The Utah Jazz trying to establish yet another high water mark for this team. John Stockton with the record last night, of course, for assists, going for a 14 straight win, 16 straight on the road. Mario Elie for the jam at the buzzer for Houston. They tried to take this one away, but as you can see, there's still clock left, so they put it back up, Houston by 1. Now, John Stockton didn't have much of an assist game. He only had 4 through the first 3 quarters, but he hits the J. And Dick, here's the big fella.
Well, when the dream shake is working, they're very, very tough, and they were tough tonight.
Well, it looks like the streak is in serious trouble. 5.5 minutes left to play in the game. Houston leading by 20. That 14-game overall win streak in jeopardy for Utah. And the tying, with the win that would tie the consecutive road win streak at 16, looks like it is going to come to an end as well. Now, Cleveland at Detroit. Mike Fratello's team struggling, trying to find warm bodies to play out there these days. But Grant Hill's foot looks like it's feeling much better now.
Yes, but Fred, don't forget that Grant Hill is still a rookie. And there's a little rookie mistake. Terrell Brandon gets a free one.
Oops, a daisy, as they say. Now, watch here. Hill reacts, makes up for that bad pass when he finds Joe Dumars all by his lonesome. Both of those guys heading out to Phoenix for the All-Star game, and you see part of the reason why right there. Detroit goes on to win it by a final count of 85-83. Hill with 22, Joe D with 12 points in the game. 4 straight losses for Cleveland, which is now 3-7 without the injured Mark Price. About to get underway at Sacramento, the Chicago Bulls, who could match their longest winning streak of the year, a modest 3. The Bulls and the Kings about to tip off. And you and I, of course, Dick, are about to, well, we'll be here, of course, next Thursday night, and then it's All-Star Weekend.
Friday, I'm looking forward to it, Fred. I'm going out to the All-Star game. Can't wait. I love it. Most people say, hey, I'd like to take a vacation during this time. I love going there.
That's
I
right.
love it.
Rookie game coming up. It's going to be a hoot. Anyway, thanks so much for joining us. We've had a ball bringing this to you, and we're going to get back to Vern and Chuck with some closing comments on Orlando in just a moment. For Dick, I'm Fred. Good night.
Every year,
Back in Orlando, where again our final score, the Seattle Supersonics 106, the Orlando Magic 103. NBA action continues tomorrow on TNT with a doubleheader beginning at 8 o'clock. Game 1 features the same Seattle Supersonics taking on the Atlanta Hawks, and then Game 2, Chicago heading to Phoenix to take on the Suns. And join us next Thursday for the NBA on TBS, the Golden State Warriors taking on the Denver Nuggets at Nichols Arena. Stay tuned now for the World Championship Wrestling's Clash of Champions. For Chuck Daly, I'm Vern Lundquist saying good night from Orlando.
Now one U.S. airline.